Stop wasting hours studying. Learn smarter. If you've ever sat at your desk for 3, 4, even 6 hours straight, highlighting pages, rereading the same chapter, watching lecture after lecture, and still forgetting most of it a week later, this is for you. The problem isn't that you're lazy, distracted, or not smart enough. The problem is that most of us were never taught how to learn. We were taught what to learn, what to memorize, what to repeat for the test, but not how the brain actually absorbs, stores, and retrieves information. Today, I'm going to share 3 science-backed learning techniques that will help you learn faster and retain knowledge longer. These are not hacks, not gimmicks, not productivity trends. They're grounded in cognitive science and used by top performers, medical students, language learners, chess champions, and even world-class memory competitors. And if you implement these into your daily routine, you won't just study more, you'll study smarter. The first technique is called active recall. Most people study passively. They reread notes. They highlight textbooks. They watch videos again at 1.25x speed. It feels productive because your eyes are moving and your brain recognizes the material. But recognition is not the same as recall. Recognition is seeing an answer and thinking, oh yeah, I remember that. Recall is staring at a blank page and pulling the answer out of your mind without help. And here's the key. Your brain strengthens memory when you struggle to retrieve it. This is called the testing effect in cognitive psychology. Every time you force your brain to recall information, you reinforce the neural pathways associated with it. Think of memory like a path in a forest. The first time you walk it, it's hard. There are branches everywhere. But each time you walk that same path, it becomes clearer and easier to travel. That's what recall does. So instead of rereading your notes after class, close the book and write down everything you remember. Instead of watching a tutorial twice, pause it and explain the concept out loud as if you're teaching someone else. For example, if you're studying biology and you just learned about the process of photosynthesis, don't just reread the diagram. Close your notebook and ask yourself, what are the 2 stages? What happens in the light-dependent reactions? Where does the Calvin cycle occur? Even if you only remember 50%, that struggle is the learning. Or if you're learning a new language, instead of rereading vocabulary lists, look at the English word and try to produce the foreign word from memory. Even better, use flashcards where you see a question on one side and force yourself to answer before flipping it. The key rule is simple. Don't look at the answer until you've then tried to retrieve it. That uncomfortable mental effort is where growth happens. Now the second technique is spaced repetition. Cramming feels efficient because you cover a lot in one session, but it's a short-term strategy. You might pass the exam tomorrow, but you'll forget most of it within weeks. That's because of something called the forgetting curve, first described by German psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus. After learning something new, your retention drops rapidly unless you review it. But here is the powerful part. Each time you review information right before you're about to forget it, the memory becomes more durable. So instead of studying one topic for 5 hours in one day, study it for 1 hour today, review it briefly tomorrow, again in 3 days, again in a week, and again in a month. Each review can be short 10 to 15 minutes but spaced out over time. This signals to your brain that the information is important long-term, not just for a temporary test. Think about it like going to the gym. You don't build muscle by lifting weights for 6 hours in one day and then never going back. You build muscle by consistent stress and recovery over time. Your brain works the same way. For example, if you're preparing for a history exam on World War II, instead of studying all the events in one weekend, break them into chunks. Study the causes today, review them tomorrow for 10 minutes. Study major battles the next day. 3 days later, quiz yourself on both causes and battles. A week later, test yourself again. With modern tools, you can use spaced repetition apps like Anki, but you can also do this with a simple calendar reminder system. The key is timing your reviews so they're spaced out, not stacked together. This dramatically reduces total study time while increasing retention. Now the third technique is interleaving and elaboration, and this is where we go from memorizing to truly understanding. Interleaving means mixing different topics or problem types in one study session instead of blocking them. Most students do blocked practice. 20 algebra problems of the same type, then 20 geometry problems of the same type. The problem? Your brain gets used to the pattern. You're not learning how to choose the right method, you're just repeating the same one. Interleaving forces your brain to identify which concept applies. For example, instead of doing 15 derivative problems in a row and then 15 integral problems, mix them together. Now your brain has to read each question and decide, is this differentiation or integration? That extra step builds deeper learning and better exam performance. Studies show that while interleaving feels harder and slower, it leads to stronger long-term mastery. And then there's elaboration, connecting new information to what you already know. The brain is not a storage unit, it's a network. The more connections a piece of information has, the easier it is to retrieve. So when you learn something new, ask yourself, why does this make sense? How does this connect to what I learned before? Can I explain this in my own words? For instance, if you're learning about supply and demand in economics, don't just memorize the graph. Ask, why does price drop when supply increases? Can I think of a real-life example, like when a new smartphone model comes out and the older one becomes cheaper? If you're studying psychology and learning about classical conditioning, connect it to everyday life, like how you might feel hungry when you smell popcorn at a movie theater because your brain associates the smell with eating. These mental links make information stick. You can even combine elaboration with something called the Feynman technique. Explain a concept as if you're re-teaching it to a 10-year-old. If you can simplify it without jargon, you truly understand it. If you get stuck, you've found a gap in your knowledge, and that's exactly where to focus. Now imagine combining all three techniques in one daily routine. You attend a lecture or watch a lesson. Immediately after, you close your notes and write a one-page summary from memory active recall. The next day, you spend 10 minutes reviewing and testing yourself against spaced repetition. During the week, you mix this topic with older topics in practice sessions, interleaving. And as you study, you constantly ask why and connect ideas to real-world examples elaboration. Instead of 5 unfocused hours, you might only need 2 highly focused hours. And the results? Better grades. Faster skill acquisition, more confidence. Less stress before exams. The biggest shift here is this. Studying is not about time spent, it's about quality of retrieval and spacing. If you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or frustrated because you study so much but forget so quickly, it's not a personal flaw. It's a strategy problem. And strategies can be changed starting today. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, pick one subject you're currently learning and apply these 3 techniques. Replace rereading with recall. Replace cramming with spaced review. Replace blocked repetition with mixed practice and deep explanation. Track how it feels. It might feel harder at first, that's normal. Effective learning often feels less comfortable than passive review. But discomfort is a sign your brain is building stronger connections. Stop wasting hours studying. Learn smarter. Implement this in your daily routine and watch how your efficiency and confidence transform. If this video shifted the way you think about learning and you want more science-backed strategies to upgrade your mindset, productivity, and performance, make sure to subscribe to Mindshift Global.